The football world has been set on fire as of late. All anyone can talk about is Arch Manning and Texas football. It seems like the Longhorns have been hyped up for years now, and they never actually seem to live up to it. But with the recent additions of Quinn Ewers and Arch Manning, the Longhorns may finally be back in business because the most important position on the field is the quarterback, and they have locked in two generational talents in back-to-back years. In today's video, I'm going to give my opinion on the Arch Manning situation, talk about who he is, bring you up to speed on his recruitment, what this means for Texas, and just everything surrounding the entire situation. So, without further ado, let's just go ahead and get started. So we first need to talk about Arch Manning and who he is. He's obviously the son of Cooper Manning and the nephew of both Eli and Peyton Manning. He's the grandson of the legendary Archie Manning, and yes, this dude is a Manning, so everyone knows who he is. When he was in middle school, he was starting to get hyped up, as a lot of footage of him surfaced, and that's why the hype was unreal when he arrived in high school. In his freshman season, he was the first freshman to start at quarterback in nearly 40 years, and he was both mature and great in his first year as the leading guy. He finished his freshman season with 2,407 yards and 34 touchdowns, and was named an All-American because of it. He had blown up at this point, and the Manning family was extremely smart, so they made sure his social media was private. He avoided a lot of interviews, and he did not accept premature offers. He continued to dominate at the high school level, as in total, he threw for 5,731 yards and 72 touchdowns over his first 3 high school seasons. Combining that with his name, he was everywhere. It was going to be a wild and a national recruitment, whether he was good or not. Based on his last name, everyone was talking about him, and he was probably going to go to a big-time program, whether he had earned it or not. After the numbers he put up and what scouts think, there is no doubt that he was actually qualified for it. Schools such as Alabama, Ole Miss, and Tennessee were early favorites because of the legacy and prestige, but then schools such as Georgia, Texas, Clemson, USC, and even LSU were also talked about. So why did these schools have a case? Well, LSU had a case because he was from in-state, and the recent success of Joe Burrow, plus the general prestige around the program, led to some people thinking maybe he could go there. Tennessee, well, they obviously had the Peyton Manning advantage, as he was awesome there, he loves that school, and they now have a very QB-friendly system with Josh Heupel as the head guy, and Hendon Hooker running the offense. Ole Miss seemed like a really good fit, as they had both Archie and Eli, plus they had recent success with head coach Lane Kiffin and their big-time quarterback in Matt Corral. From there, you also had Clemson, and they're in the running because they're a big-time program. They have a great head coach in Dabo Swinney, and they have developed their 5-star talent, as Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence have both been incredible, and DJ Uiagalelei is still to be determined. But honestly, Clemson was always on the outside looking in. Looking over to Georgia, they had just won a national title. They have a lot of prestige. Everyone loves Kirby Smart, and apparently he loved Athens, but I cannot help but think that he noticed what went on with Stetson Bennett and all the other 5-stars, as every time a big-time recruit goes in, they end up not playing. Whether those 5-stars were overrated or Stetson was just that much better in the offense, I cannot help but think that Arch saw that these big-time talents were not playing, and that's one of the reasons why he didn't end up going there. After that, you had 2 more schools who were in the running. One of them was Texas. They were always going to be a wild card because they were on the up. Texas always has hype, they're a prestigious program, and they had a very quarterback-friendly coach. Add in the fact that they just landed Quinn Ewers, and they had a lot of momentum, but some people still thought this was a wild card. Finally, the last school that was in the running for them was Alabama, but eventually they would be eliminated. Yes, they have Nick Saban, yes, they've been incredible at quarterbacks, and yes, he would be awesome there, but they had just landed a quarterback commitment from Eli Holstein, so basically when that happened, they were out of the Arch Manning sweepstakes. Okay, so now that you know that the schools that were interested in him, what would he end up doing? Well, Arch took very well-calculated visits, took his time, and did not rush his decision. Just a few days ago, Arch would end up surprising the college football world as he took to social media and said he was going to be a Texas Longhorn. To say this commitment was huge was an understatement. There have been 3 perfect 1.00 quarterback recruits in the 24/7 Sports composite since the year 2000. Let's take a guess at who those 3 are. The first one was Vince Young, the second one, Quinn Ewers, the third was Arch Manning. If he eventually does sign with them, then all 3 of them will have played for the University of Texas. Isn't that absolutely wild? In my mind it is, but somehow they pulled it off. Arch Manning's commitment to Texas means that he'll be the fourth Manning to play college football in the SEC, assuming Texas finds a way to join quickly, and at bare minimum, the end of his career he'll play there. But more than likely, he'll be in the SEC next year as a freshman. So we now know that he committed to Texas, but why exactly did this happen? Well, I don't know for 100% sure because I'm not him or I'm not part of his family, but I feel like a big reason has to be Coach Sarkisian. Sark has coached multiple first-round picks, which included USC quarterback Matt Leinart and Bama quarterbacks Tua Tagovailoa and Mac Jones. He's also considered one of the top quarterback minds in the game, and he also coached Matt Barkley and Bryce Young, both of which were college football superstars. The second reason has to be NIL. I keep saying that, and there's no bona fide source to say I'm correct on that, but I definitely guarantee he's going to be making a lot of money with what has been going on in the sport right now. He's at a big-time program, and he has that Manning name, and they definitely are going to find a way to get him a nice deal with that. Also, with the expectation of viewers, the program should be in its best shape in a long time when he does arrive. That'll get even more eyes on him, and many speculate that he's going to make millions of dollars while he was there. But again, I don't know, and I'm not going to make any assumptions at this point because we have no idea what's actually going on. What does Steve Wiltfong think? Well, he's one of the lead 24/7 Sports members, and he said, quote, "I think it was the Texas staff, particularly Steve Sarkisian and quarterbacks coach AJ Milwee, that did a terrific job building rapport with Arch. Arch has great faith in those guys to develop him and the Longhorns program in general. I also think he loved Austin, he thinks it's a great town, and he's excited about living there. Sark's track record as a play caller and a QB developer was big. So yeah, there was the coach, the program, the money, and the system. You can also credit his number one weapon in high school, Will Randall. He's a big-time tight end prospect, and he is also going to be headed to Texas. Arch probably knows every weapon in the country, and a ton of players are more than likely going to follow him now. This will be extremely exciting to see how this has a ripple effect on college football recruiting, and I know it's not 100% that he's going to go there because he hasn't signed, but I think it's very likely at this point that it is going to happen. So what does this mean for Texas? Well, quarterback play has not been great. A big reason for Texas's struggle since 2009 has been the fact they haven't had a great quarterback. Sam Ehlinger was probably the best since Colt McCoy, that when Sam was at his best, they had their best season, in which they went 10-4 and won the Sugar Bowl. Last year, they had quarterback problems with Hudson Card and Casey Thompson, and this year, it's more than likely going to be Ewers. Quarterback is the most important position on the field, and Texas has just not been able to figure that out. Now they'll have both Ewers and potentially Arch if he signs, and this is just absolute insanity. If he is anything like either of the Mannings that we know, then we are definitely in for a treat, and he'll likely be the number one overall pick in 2026. That's a long ways away, and this definitely leads to a very intriguing situation. What is going to happen in 2023? Ewers will be headed into his third year because he cannot go to the NFL until the 2024 draft, so this means that Arch and Quinn will be on the campus at the same time. What if there's a stipulation in Arch's NIL contract that he has to start? We don't know. What if Ewers ends up struggling? We don't know. There's so much at play here, and right now you have two generational quarterbacks who are going to be on campus at the same time. This isn't a Trevor Lawrence, Kelly Bryant situation. This is like Trevor Lawrence and Deshaun Watson being there at the same time. It's all going to be extremely intriguing. The national media is in a frenzy, and everyone is talking about this commitment all day long. I thought I would give my opinion, explain the situation without being biased, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you're a Texas fan, what do you think of this situation? What are your thoughts on Arch, and what topic or player should I take a look at in my next video? Be sure to let me know down below, smash that like button if you want to support today's video, subscribe if you are new, and check out all my other videos on the end screen. I hope to see you guys again soon, but until next time, peace.